Watch your feet. There you go. Bene. Oh, bene.
I didn't know alive when I wear your Benny. Me, I am out.
No, but that money.
Everywhere they want in Madinina.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the TuneIn app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from HitzAfrik Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitzafrikradio.org. HitzAfrik Radio News Hour live.
And 22 Ghana cedis, 0.12 pesos Senate contribution. Family of murdered engineer at reject suspects. Putin warns of tough Russian action. Gifty auntie traumatized for and shaken after nearly hitting a pedestrian on the Tema motorway. These and many other stories I bring your way this evening.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitzafrikradio.org. We are also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. My name is Abna Ahuni. Now let's do the news in details. Lecturer remanded over 422 Ghana cedis, Senate contribution. A lecturer has been remanded by a circuit court in Koforidua over 422 Ghana cedis, 0.12 Social Security and National Insurance Trust Senate contribution. The lecturer, Francis Ayensu, who is with All Nations University and Ghana Technology University, was remanded last Thursday to reappear on the 26th of April 2021. According to the source, Kasapa FM Online, the accused person, Francis Ayensu, is the owner and director of Freelance Investment Consults Limited. He, however, failed to pay his workers' net contribution from January 2020 to August 2020, amounting to 422.12 Ghana cedis. Despite efforts made to get him to pay same, he was but failed to appear in court. He was communicated to on the next court date, which he still ignored. A bench warrant was issued for his arrest, but the accused allegedly resisted and incited some youth to attack the arresting officer, Lance Corporal Nuhu, and the prosecuting officer, Isaac Namaya Mbatini. He was later arrested and put before the court and was remanded to reappear on the 26th of April 2021. 2021. Moving on to other stories. Citing late aircraft in the eastern region has rejected the account given by one of the three suspects. The suspect had claimed in plea documents made available to the court hearing the case that he mistakenly shot the deceased after he mistook him for a pig. According to the source, Adom News, this comes after one of the three members of a neighboring watch committee confessed to killing the aeronautical engineer. The prime suspect, Joseph Kwesi Efa, confessed to killing Kwabena Kumi with his locally manufactured single-barrel gun. Prince Kwabena Kumi, an aircraft engineer with the African World Airline, was murdered in April at Achim Esub Efa said on 1st April 2018 on his uncle. Nana Nkrumah Kumi says the account given to the police by the suspect is an overthought. That Kumi was shot 12 times in his neck and chest before he died. The reports we have suggest that he was killed from close range. Even though he has confessed to killing him, we need further interrogation to unravel the real circumstances that led to the killing, he stated. Meanwhile, a third suspect, 58-year-old Kwesi Bosompem, has also been apprehended to assist police with investigations. Moving on to other stories. Official deputy ministerial list finally out. Okweku Mante in. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on Wednesday submitted to the Speaker Alban Sumani Kingsford Badwin the names of his deputy ministerial nominees for Parliament para approval. Also appointed is Charles Edubuahin as a Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance, who served in President Akufo-Addo's first term. According to AdomOnline.com, they indicate on their website that the list, which is replete with parliamentarians, also has persons who have served in the president's first term, including former National Petroleum Authority boss Hassan Tampuli, former Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Amin Mohammed Adam, and former Deputy Information Minister Nana Dokuya Isiama Ejei, among others. Moving on to other stories. 65-year-old woman escaped death as house is set ablaze over witchcraft accusations. According to Iliusu Abdul Rauf Dabri from the northern part of Ghana, a 65-year-old woman, Amina Mahama, has escaped luncheon after some angry youth of Natali in the Zabzugu district of the northern region accused her of witchcraft. Properties including Ima Amina's house, about 10,000 tubers of yam, have reportedly been set ablaze after she managed to run for her life. The unfortunate incident happened around 10 o'clock a.m. on Wednesday. Ima Amina Mohammed's compound. Mr. Abdul Rahim Tahidu, a son of an accused, confirmed the incident in an interview with Adom News Ilyasu Abdul Rauf Dabril, stating the matter has been reported to the police. Mr. Tahidu said his mother had a misunderstanding with two young men in the community, but after a few days, the branch of baobab tree fell on one, leading to his death. According to him, after the incident, the family of the deceased accused his mother of being to mobilize some community members to attack Amina Mahama at her house at Natali, but he tipped her off to escape. And this is where we end our local stories. Stay tuned as we do other African stories.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on the website at www.hitzafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Now let's do some other African countries. In Kenya, Kenya's police crack whip a curfew violators elicits mixed reactions. Kenya's police recent crack has elicited on highway the time when curfew begins. Hands caught up past the curfew's time were stuck in traffic for hours. Those caught up in traffic included students, essential workers, and patients being rushed to the hospitals. President Uhuru Kenyatta on March 26th announced a ban on all inland travel in the capital, Nairobi, and out 4 other countries. The new restrictions meant no road, rail, or air transport will be permitted in Nairobi, Kajiado, Kimbu, Machakos, and Nakuru. As for curfew, hours now start at 20. Allowed people to travel during curfew hours were also revoked. Kenya's COVID-19, according to our health experts, our third wave started to get. The peak of this wave is expected to 3,000 cases per day, he added. A number of Kenyans expressed their displeasure with the new crackdown, citing several reasons, including lack of commuter services from the capital. Kenyatta also ordered the closure of bars and schools in Nairobi. Negative impact on the economy. These measures are temporary. The cost of not acting now will be much greater, Mr. Kenyatta said. Moving on to other stories. Just another day in N'Djamena, Debbie's demise elicites mixed reactions from locals. It's just another day in the Chadian capital, in N'Djamena, as local President Idris Deby reportedly succumbed to injuries on the front line with rebels organized by people against the population. I think it's time that something should be done, and I am asking for the support of the international community. And in N'Djamena residents, Baivenu Mbairana said, for entrepreneur in Jagobe Mbaibekorum, recent developments are unfortunate. It is not how it should work. The president of the assembly is there, so he is the one who should take things in hand. Yet, we give it again to people in the military. It follows the logic of Idris Deby, so of course I'm against it, he said. It remains to be seen what the next line of action would be. But as Chadians go about the day-to-day activities, what is clear is that locals yearn for more answers. We are waiting for the development of the event. What will happen tomorrow? The day after tomorrow, we will see. He is already gone. He is in debt. he is dead. A head of state should not go to war. The minister, the militaries, several generals are there, said N'Djamena resident Fermin Dubai. Dono Kelepete is a pastor and spokesperson for the platform Servants of God for Justice and Law in Chad. He thinks this might be God's destiny for the late president in this way, but in another way, but maybe it is God's destiny for him, Kelepete said. President Idris Déby's death has opened a period of uncertainty in Chad. Rebels have vowed to march on the capital in N'Djamena. Moving on to other stories, heavy rains in Lauda killed at least 14 and leave 8,000 homeless. In Angola, brutal flooding on Monday, triggered by torrential rains, killed 14 people and left 8,000 families without homes in Angola's capital, Luanda. The intensity of the downpour, which lasted for about 7 hours, collapsed bridges, uprooted and prevented the circulation of public transport in several areas of Rwanda, such as many people were unable to get to their places of work. According to a spokesman for the National Civil Security Agency, by collapsing trees, it had overflown onto the public highway. The Municipal Civil Protection Commission continues to survey the damage caused by the rains. And this is where we end other African countries. Stay tuned as we do the world news.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the tuning app onto your mobile phone today and catch.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitzafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Now let's do some world news. Indonesia submarine goes missing north of Bali. A KRI Nanggala 402 submarine performs an exercise in Surabaya, East Java, Indonesia. In 2014, an Indonesian Navy submarine has gone missing with 53 people on board, military officials say. The submarine was conducting a drill north of the island of Bali on Wednesday, but it failed to report back and contact was lost. Indonesia's military chief said warships has been dispatched to find the KRI Nanggala 402 vessel. Officials have called on in Australia and Singapore to help in the search. The countries have not publicly commented. The German-made submarine is thought to have disappeared in west coast of Bali, searching for it, while Julius Wijojono told AFP news agency. Some reports say contact was lost after the submarine had given clearance to dive into deeper waters. The vessel is one of 5 submarines operated in Indonesia. It was made in the late 1970s and underwent a 2-year refit in South Korea that was completed in 2012, according to Reuters news agency. It is the first time Indonesia has lost one of its submarines, a Navy spokesman told the BBC. But similar incidents have happened elsewhere. In 2017, an Argentine military submarine went missing in the southern Atlantic with 44 crew on board. Its wreck was located a year later, and officials confirmed that the submarine had imploded. In other stories, Putin warns of tough Russian action if West crosses red line. The warning came in his annual State of the Nation address amid heightened tension with the West over Ukraine and jailed Putin critic Alexei Navalny. Mr. Putin said Western powers were constantly trying to pick on Russia. Police have detained nearly 100 Navalny supporters rallying in several cities. Hundreds staged pro-Navalny protests on Wednesday in eastern cities including Vladivostok, Irkutsk, and Krasnoyarsk. The authorities have declared them illegal. The anti-corruption campaigner is being threatened at a police hospital in Vladimir, about 180 kilometers, 112 miles east of Moscow. He is on hunger strike, and his allies say his life is in danger. In central Moscow, police cordoned off the area around Manets Exhibition Hall, where Mr. Putin addressed both houses of parliament. Mr. Putin focused most of his speech on Russia's battle against COVID-19 and its plan to improve welfare and economic development. But he accused the West of threatening stability in Russia and its ex-Soviet neighbors, Belarus and Ukraine. He backed Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, who faces huge opposition since claiming re-election last year in a vote widely condemned as rigged. The two presidents will hold talks in Moscow on Thursday. On 17 April, the Belarusian authorities announced that they had foiled a US-backed plot to assassinate President Lukashenko. Russia's Federal Security Service, FSB, said it had detained two Belarusians allegedly involved in the plot. The coup claim was dismissed by the exiled Belarusian opposition leader, Sviatoslava. Since last August's disputed election, massive demonstrations in support of her have taken place with thousands of protesters beaten up by police and detained. President Putin said some Western countries were like jackals trying to please the US, just as a jackal behaved with the Tiger Shah Khan in Kipling's tale The Jungle Book. We don't want to burn bridges, but if somebody interprets our good intentions as weakness, our reaction will be asymmetrical, rapid and harsh, he said. We will decide for ourselves in each case where the red line is. Tensions have been building over Ukraine as reports say Russia has moved more than 100,000 troops close to disputed areas. A large part of that force is in Crimea, the peninsula, and Russia annexed from Ukraine in March 2014. A senior Ukrainian officer, Jenisehir Naiv, estimated the total force to be 103,200 last week. Russia backs the separatists holding a swath of eastern Ukraine, and its maneuvers have fueled fears of a new Russian military intervention. In his speech, Mr. Putin said that the West didn't think about Belarus or Ukraine when the Maidan events were going on there. Mass protests in Chief's Maidan Square led to Ukraine's pro-Russian president, Viktor Yanukovych, fleeing to Russia in February 2014. And this is where we end our news. Stay tuned as we do some entertainment news.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitzafrikradio.org. We're also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Now let's do some entertainment news. Gifty auntie traumatized and shaken after nearly hitting a pedestrian on the Tema motorway. Ghanaian media personality Gifty auntie has revealed that she was traumatized and shaken after nearly knocking down a pedestrian on the Tema motorway for the first time after 25 years of driving. According to the Standpoint host, the incident happened Tuesday morning while driving with her daughter and domestic assistant. She wrote, "I just can't imagine the headline. This morning, for the first time in my 25 years of driving, I nearly knocked down someone on the motorway. Yesterday, I woke up to a shocking news of how a blogger had picked my Facebook post meant to encourage struggling mothers and twisted the story to suit an obvious agenda. The blogger gave it to the most scary headline that made many loved ones panic and wrote things I hadn't even written in the post, shaking my head. This morning, the devil reared its ugly head again. I have lived in Tema all my life and have always used the motorway. It's sad how the motorway has now become a death zone for both motorists and pedestrians. People now cross it anyhow. Trotro drivers have also created stations alongside it. People just stuck in the middle of the motorway and stop speeding cars for people to cross. Where in the world did this happen? One such person just stepped in the way and stopped me this morning. I nearly hit him. I stepped on the brake suddenly and thank God my domestic assistant was sitting at the back with my little girl and held her. Only God knows what would have happened. If I had knocked down this person, God forbid, if I had knocked down this person, you can imagine the headlines by people who weren't even there and didn't see exactly what happened. I believe it is God who delivered me and the pedestrian from this near fatal accident. But my question is, when will laws enforcement work in this country? How do we watch for lawlessness on our roads to continue, killing hundreds and thousands every year? When will we, the citizens, stop breaking the laws of the land and take our lives seriously? Shaking my head. I still believe in Ghana, and I know this country can work again. I am so traumatized and shaken, but like yesterday, I know I will be fine. When you pray, thank God for me. Super crazy faith in God accelerated. Moving on to other stories. Nana Addo nominates Mark Okoeku-Mantey as Deputy Minister for Creative Arts. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has nominated Mark Okoeku-Mantey as Deputy Minister for the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry. Mr. Okoeku-Mantey's nomination was confirmed in a list of the President's nominees for deputy ministerial roles released today and signed by the Acting Director of Communications at the Office of the President, Mr. Eugene Ahin. Meanwhile, Shatawale strongly opposed the call and threatened to form his own political campaign against NPP if Nana Addo appoints Mark. Moving on to our last story. Social media reacts to Ekuapin Polo's bill and Nana Agrada's arrest. Ekuapin Polo has been granted bail, whilst Nana Agrada has been arrested, and social media users are having a field day with the developing story. An Accra High Court on Wednesday granted the Ghanaian socialite 80,000 Ghana cedis bail with two sureties to be justified. Convicted Ekuapin Polo was serving a 90-day jail time for posting a nude photo on social media. Oswela Owusu, Minister of Communication, confirmed Nana Agrada was picked up last night and in police custody. The team arrested the offenders, among which included the owner of the Thunder TV, Patient Esiedua, popularly known as Nana Agrada, and seized two equipment, each used in the illegal transmission, she stated. With both Nana Agrada and Ekuapin Polo being Ghanaian socialists, social media users have been reacting to their related stories in rip-cracking ways which are trending online. And this is where we end our stories for tonight. Stay tuned as we do a recap of the headlines.
The News Hour, coming to you live from the studios of HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned. Download the TuneIn app onto your mobile phone today and catch up on all the latest news from HitzAfrik Radio. Broadcasting live on modern Ghana and our website www.hitsafrikradio.org. HitzAfrik Radio News Hour live.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio and TV. We are transmitting live on our website at www.hitsafrikradio.org. We are also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Remanded over 422.12 Ghana cedis net contribution. Family of murdered engineer at reject suspect. Putin warns of tough Russian action. Gifty anti-traumatized and shaken after nearly hitting a pedestrian on the Tema motorway. And many other stories I brought your way this evening. My name is Abna Ahine. This is HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media handles at HitzAfrik Radio and TV. Stay tuned for the rest of our programs. Have a good evening.